ranking every Overwatch hero by the color of their skin. Now I know what you're thinking. Okay, Clowner, that's outrageous. And yes, it is outrageous to sort of generalize in that way, but I mean, man's got to have his preferences, and I think it's okay to have preferences because we're talking about preference of color. Okay, to explain quickly how this works, I'll give you a little example. Okay, let's take May and put her in a blender. Okay, on pops the lid, and then okay, now if I take this out, I've got a blob of May made up of the average overall color of her base game skin. That's what we're going to be ranking today. Alright. So let's start with Baptiste first, because he's black. Wow, okay. This is a actually very pleasant color. Picture, if you will, you're in like I think in England we have B&Q. I don't know what it is in America, but you're in your kitchen store and you see the cabin kitchen section, okay, with the woods, and they always do something bold and daring, like their weird dark green. This is that color. This is very good color. I'm gonna put this in. Okay, actually, do you know what? I'm gonna show the complete tier list at the end, instead of every single time I put one in, otherwise we're gonna keep having Family Guy cutaway gags. Why was I interrupted? It was S tier. Okay, so this is quite an interesting color for... What the fuck? Stop! Whoever's editing this, stop. Oh wait, that's probably me. Ana color. This is not a very nice color. This is desaturated plant. Gross. At the bottom of the tier list. This is a very similar shade. I'm cycling between the two right now. It's similar, but it has a bit more warmth to it. A little bit more warmth. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it one above in the C tier. Okay. This is very terrible. The only 2 times a color like this is used is in your grandma's ugly, hideous wallpaper or a military grade Hummer. Disgusting. Get it off my screen. Brigitte, oh my goodness, baby mama. That's a beautiful color. This is like, if this was a Dulux paint color, it would be called The Morning Sunset on Ugandan Soil. S tier. Beautiful stuff. Okay, if this was a Dulux paint, it would be called Brick. This is not great. It's not terrible. Actually, no, I lied. It's terrible. It's reminding me of Netherrack. Put it at the bottom. Just get it off my screen. This is nice. This is very nice. This is a combination of all of the already pleasant colors in Diva's palette. Very good. I'm glad it wasn't a weird amalgamation of all of the nice colors to make a brown once again. I reckon we're actually going to be seeing a lot of browns because a lot of them are skin tone, you know, there's a lot of skin showing. It's a nice color, and it reminds me, this is maybe obscure, but I used to go to the beach and I thought there were stones, but I realized that there were pieces of like bathroom tile and they'd always be really smooth and in colors like this. This is very cool. This is an A tier. Muy bien. Beautiful. It's a nice shade of brown. It's a little muted. It's pretty much his skin color, but it's muted because of the white clothing. And if it wasn't muted, it would be like chocolate milk. Very nice. But it's sort of a little bit muted. Not overly fond of the slight muting. It's going to be a B tier. This is a pretty straightforward one. It's pretty much just the color of her bodywork, a little bit of the color of the head and fingies as well. That's a very nice color. It's like white concrete in Minecraft. It's an S tier. Genji. Okay. It's to be expected. You're mixing grey and green. I was hoping a little bit more green. This is sort of just like dead coral. It's not great. Yeah, I don't have too much else to say about this one. I'm afraid, Chief, it's gonna be a D tier. Hands up. It's cool. It's kind of muted. It's like actually not very cool at all. I think I was wrong. You know, it's like it's a bad brown and a bad gray. It's like pick one to be. You're being bad at both. It's a C tier. Yadi, I miss you, Pookie. Pookie, I miss you so much. This is an okay shade of brown. It's muted once again, very gray brown, which makes it not that amazing. So I'm gonna say for now, it would probably be a C tier, but because it's Iadi we're talking about, it's a B tier, just because she's my love. Relax, she's my love. Junker Queen. This is a nice shade of brown. It's warm, it has that warmth to it. It's like Iadi's, but with warmth. Better. I'll put it in A tier. Junkrat is like, it has more warmth, but it's more red, making it more brick-like. Just reminds me of like estate housing. It's a C tier. Kitty cat, brick. But actually, now that I think about it, actually no, it's just brick. Forget it. It's D tier. Get out of here. Life Weaver. This is a very pleasant color. This reminds me of very regal interior design where people have pink furniture or like with dark red curtains and stuff, you know? This is good. This is a great color. It's an S tier color. Very nice. Lucio. This is also an S tier color. Very great. Malga. Once again. Back to back to back. It's an S tier color. This is like poop brown, but it's good poop. We already saw her blended into a blob at the beginning of this video. Okay. We got an idea of what this sort of color would be. It's sort of like when an iceberg flips up and you see the underside of it and it's that dark ice, the compacted ice. It's reminding me of that a little bit maybe. It's an okay color. It's not a bad color. I wouldn't say it's amazing. It's sort of hard to stylize, hard to use in things. I'll put it in the middle, a standard B tier. I mean, I'd be 55 if I said beige was cool. Beige is not a cool color. Far from it, okay? This isn't terrible. It's like a C. Moira. This is not a very pleasant color at all, actually. In fact, on top of that, this is quite hideous. It's a D tier because it looks like death and decay. Orisa of Numbani. Okay. I'm seeing what it's got going here. I'm messing with it. It's a little funky, but it's quite nice, I think. It's like a B. It's in the middle. It's not bad. Farah. This is a grey shade of blue. It's like a cobalt, right? If we're talking back to Dulux. Or sorry, I probably can't say Dulux. If we're talking back to non-copyright paint brand, it's a cobalt. It's okay. It's a little muted, I guess. It's all right. It's probably like a B again. It's an interesting, kind of strange color. Sort of a little bit like Moira's, but less decay because it's more purple. It's reminding me more of coral. From an artistic perspective, I think this color has potential if it was a little bit more saturated. So I'll put it in B once more. I don't have too much to say. It's like a warm, dark gray, like a charcoal, which is pretty useful. A. That is just grey, straight up. You can't, it's in the middle of white and black. You can't go wrong with grey. That's an S. Roadhog. Coming in with the brown. It's interesting, that's for sure. It's a disgusting shade of brown. That's got to be at the bottom, at the very bottom. Get it off my screen. Density, mass, momentum. It's just too much to hold on to. It's a grey. It's lighter than Reinhardt's, so it's not an S grey. It's an A grey, you know? I pressed the right key on my keyboard so hard that I knocked my key off. How do I put it back on, chat? Do I just wedge it? Oh, I'm scrolling through all of them. I'm at Zenyatta Sojourn. Interesting. I apologize about the lack of, like, ability to project my voice as well. I think my throat is being a little funny. Maybe I'm coming on with something. I don't know. But this is another good shade of brown. This is an ugly shade of brown. This is a C tier. Solar 76 with the sort of cool grey color, which I used to use on all my Minecraft builds. You remember? Before we had concrete, we had terracotta. And I think it was cyan was the grey looking one. For the memory purposes, it's an A tier. We love it. Sombra. This is a great color. Finally, one that's like nicely saturated. That's great. Lovely. S tier. Beautiful. Sim. This is sort of like Farah's, but worse. I don't remember what I put Farah in, but I put Symmetra one below that. Torbjorn. Wow. Torbjorn. I love Torbjorn. However, this color is not amazing. It's maybe okay. So I'll put it in the okay tier at B. This is a nice shade of orange. Could be bolder, and I think with orange, it's nice to be bold. I'll prove that to you. Hold on. I have a coat. I have a coat that's a very bright orange. Maybe on the camera it looks sort of red, but this is definitely orange in real life. It definitely has potential, but it's not quite the boldness that it needs to be. And for that, I'm gonna have to... This is irritating. I'm gonna have to put it in A tier. Venture. Coming in with... This just looks like the clothing color that Venture has. So that's pretty good. It's not a bad color. It's like, it's not beige. It's nearly beige, but it's too dark to be beige. So I'll put it in C tier because it's not beige. Widowmaker. Nice shade of purple. Close to Sombra's. Pretty good. Not quite as bold. A tier. Winston. Pretty much all of the tanks have been grey, no? This is boring. They need to make some more palatable tanks, I think. This is like a... Not a bad shade of grey in all fairness. I'll put it in A with Reinhardt's. Wrecking Ball. Slightly brown grey. Not a fan of this colour. This is like a C tier. Poopy poo. Zarya. Another grey one. Are you kidding me? Another freaking grey one. It's got a sort of pinkish tint to it, I suppose, because of the hair. It's quite nice. Who am I kidding? It's horrible. It's a D tier. And finally, Zenyatta is here. Ooh, that is a nice shade of brown. It's sort of similar to Venture's, but more brown, which is better. We love brown here. Brown is such a universally nice color. I think, name one thing that looks bad in brown. Other than underwear. Great color. Let's put it in A tier. Pretty good. That's the tier. That's it done. That's it done. I'll put up the tier list right now for anyone that really, really cares that much, but I don't think people really do. There it is, guys. Thanks so much for watching. That's every skin color. My camera's about to die. It might cut me off mid-sentence. I'm not so sure.